And they are off. Here we go. Dr. Alice with the black pieces he has chosen. He will play e6 against e4 from Ty Kevin. Oh boy, this is going to be a great one. All right. We've got the French defense here coming from Dr. Alice with the black pieces. So, taking control of the center, Ty Kevin with e4 and d4. Countering is Dr. Alice with e6, d5. Both players bring out their knights. Ty Kevin bringing out his bishop to b5, blocked by c6, and he drops his bishop back to d3. So now I'm interested to see how Ty Kevin is able to get... Ooh, I like this move. Dr. Alice pushing this c-pawn up to c5, and now if you're... I think that you take here. I think that this is the one you take here. Yeah, I don't really like this bishop move unless you're going to keep it on this diagonal, because unfortunately all you do is you just give him an extra turn to move up here, and Dr. Alice does indeed take that c-pawn. So now if he does take here on this pawn, that's a potential trade. Okay, so he takes with the bishop. So black is doing okay here. Does have a little more pawn control in the center. I don't like that. That's a fork. That is a classic fork right there. Hitting both the bishop and the knight. And Dr. Alice does see it. And now Ty Kevin has to give one of these up. Unless he can somehow find a way around it. Which, he could go do something like that. I think probably, other than taking here, probably his best move would be just to roll back to d2. When the pawn takes, then you just take back here, pointing up at this knight. You know, you haven't ruined your pawn structure here. Instead, he decides to put a check on. Colors do need to be flipped. That's my apologies, everyone. Ooh, I don't think that's what you wanted to do there. And now bishop takes. And now black can't take because the queen can take. And then you're looking at some potentially bad news here. And Dr. Alice had a good position here. Ty Kevin putting the pressure on after that decision. And now Dr. Alice isn't in a great spot here. So now Dr. Alice looking to make his move. Let's see. Okay, he does decide to take there. And now queen takes. Again, Dr. Alice needs to make a decision. He decides to castle here. Now, if I'm white, I think that castling queenside here, get this rook out here on the d file, point is straight up. That's, yep, and that is exactly what he decides. That is exactly what he decides. And now, this square triply under attack here. It is triply defended. Okay. You could probably just take care of the bishop. Yep, that is what he decides to do. And now he has a decision. What does he take with here? He does take with the bishop. That's a mistake. That is a huge mistake. Now you take with the knight. And you're up a queen. That's a huge, huge blunder from Ty Kevin. Not recognizing that the knight was there to protect as well. Now, this isn't a lost position for people at this level. I could see a potential comeback here from Ty Kevin. However, this is going to be a very, very uphill battle right now. So he brings the queen over to e7, keeping it on this diagonal, putting it on this diagonal. All right, so it looks like Ty Kevin's going to look to double these rooks here on the d file. All right, Dr. Ellis here, trying to make a move here. Let's see what he might be thinking.
Can I move it up? I can't move it there. If I move it here, so it's like I want to go here, here. Just push it forward, I guess, right? And then I can, like... Sure, so now I can just put him here? Or maybe... Like, what happens if I do that? Is that good? What's his response? Oh, then he just takes it. Oh. Was this just ill-advised? Because dead, 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 can't move, can't move, can't move. Do I have to move it back? That's upsetting. Can I put equal danger? Because this knight is not protected. Can I put pressure on it in any way? I can go like queen here, and then I can trade the knights. It feels so bad to just like drop my knight back, you know? Like that's just, I don't like doing that. So I think I like this instead, and then he can take my knight and I'll just take his knight.
Lots of decision making there from Dr. Ellis. Decides that he doesn't want to drop his knight back. Instead, puts pressure onto White's knight by going to f6. I don't think it's a bad move. When you're in his position, it's not a bad idea to simplify it. And he drops back there. It's mate. That's mate. Queen A1 is mate here. if he sees it. He sees it. Dr. Alice wins game 1. Wow. A masterstroke coming from Dr. Alice. Unintentionally finding that checkmating square after White decides to move his knight out of the way. Whew. I don't know what to say about that one. Wow. Excellently played from Dr. Alice there. And here we go. Dr. Alice now with the white pieces after winning game 1. Ty Kevin with black. Decides to come out with d4 for Dr. Alice. Ty Kevin coming out with knight to f6. Knight to f3 for Dr. Alice. I would like to point out that right now this square is completely undefended for White. Yeah, so now d5. Good job attacking that square. Kind of getting the London system out here. Very safe maneuvers here from Dr. Alice. Only needing a draw to clinch this tournament. Ty Kevin responding with e6. Now probably I would say e3, open up this bishop, get it out, and then you're ready to castle. You could also push c3. He decides to bring his knight out here. I guess his idea is to castle queenside. So if he brings his knight, I guess his knight's kind of stuck there. I would say probably then c3, and then bring the queen out and castle. Hard to say right now. Okay, so he does decide now to push e3. And now black is ready to castle here. White is almost ready to castle. Black could also go c... Actually, it could go c5. Offering to trade the knights. I don't know that I like it because I didn't like the positioning of this knight. And that also doubles up your pawns here on the e-file. I'm not a huge fan of this move. Now, Dr. Alice absolutely should just take this trade here. Instead decides to bring his bishop out. I guess he wants to... I guess he's more focused on his development than castling right now. Yeah, if you're Ty Kevin, I think you just gotta take here. Either that or play f5 and protect the square again. And for that pawn would be attacking the knight, so if we did go back a couple of moves here, he goes here, you take, he takes with the pawn, and then you just put your knight right here on e5. You could also put it over here on g5. These are two very good squares for that knight, potentially. Well, not g5 because of the bishop, but e5 for sure. Ty Kevin deciding to go knight to c6. Now, this is an even better move. You take here, he takes back with the pawn, you can just take the pawn right back with the bishop. And you got two bishops right next to each other. Very, very strong doubled bishops. pointing right up this diagonal. So, Tai Kevin... okay, so he does decide to take the knight there. So now I'm expecting to see the pawn taking back. Which would be followed up, of course, by the bishop taking the pawn. That was pre-moved, and now Tai Kevin needing to find something here. I get the idea that he might do this. It's just kind of a feeling that that's what we're going to see here, just based off of his previous game. But let's go to him and see what he might be thinking here.
Oh, yeah. That's not in the back class. If I advance there, is that actually good? I don't think it is.
So Tai Kevin deciding to castle there after realizing that pawn on e6 was not on e7. That would have been a great move if it was legal, for sure. Forking those two with the pawn as backup there. But 'twas not to be. And now white castles. And black immediately pushes this pawn onto g5. Now this bishop can retreat to g3. You could also go bishop to e5 here, which would be a trade. He does decide to drop it back to g3. Which I think is probably the safer move, because this does keep both of your bishops on the board. So knight probably to d2. You could go e5 and trade off the knights. But it just feels like Tai Kevin is just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks right now. Dr. Alice just feels in control. And he does decide to go e5 with the knight, offering this trade. It would double up his pawns, but this is actually even better. He could take here with the bishop. That would be an even better maneuver. He does not. He takes with the pawn. Doubles these up. But white is still in a pretty good position here. Now this is interesting watching black's king side. He could decide to just start pushing pawns here. Try to get an attack on this king side. Reminds me a little bit of a video I saw yesterday of the king's Indian defense that Stockfish New played against Leela Zero, a couple of chess computers, where they just had all the king side pawns just advanced up the board here. Instead, Tai Kevin decides playing c5 is his move. And now I would say probably f3 to try to get a pawn break here. You could bring queen to e2. Try to give a little bit of support to this bishop. That was a quick move coming out from Ty Kevin, and you saw that bar move a little bit there, and that's because c4 would have been a great move here, because now basically it just gives up the bishop, and now the rooks are not there to protect the queen, which is now on the second rank instead of the first. But instead, Ty Kevin decides to play a6. Which does prevent this move, but definitely c4 would have been a much better move, because c4, if he takes, then you take back with the queen, and the queen, that's just straight up a queen loss. Otherwise, you have to give up the bishop for free. So now, I mean, it could happen again next move here. It will not after rook on a to d1. Now this move, he can just take back, and that would just be a straight queen trade in that regard. So a missed opportunity from Ty Kevin, who absolutely needs a win in order to stay alive here. Now from Ty Kevin, potentially d7, get himself onto this diagonal, and that's exactly what he plays. So idea maybe to park the queen here, and try to get in behind here to this pawn. There is an idea. There is an idea. For white, I'd probably move this rook over, get onto this file. You could also move f3 again, get a pawn break there. He decides to move his bishop down to e2. So this queen trade is available here. If I'm black, it might just be best to take it, quite honestly. Because this is a strong structure right here from white right now. But it's hard to say. It's very hard to say. Like I said, Ty Kevin needs to win this game, and having his pieces still on the field is very important in finding a potential checkmate. He instead decides to move his rook over to d7, or d8 rather, sorry. So again, there's a potential queen trade here. So now Dr. Alice again, kind of in a position where, you know, he's got a few moves he can make, but gonna be tough to potentially find it. Let's see what he's thinking.
Threaten. I want to move my queen because then I have this discovered attack, and he has to do something about it, right? So if I want to move my queen, it can't be down this file. A5 attacks the rook. Oh wait, what if he just pushes his pawn now? Because you got to figure that's what he's likely to do, right? So if he pushes the pawn, trade queens, win a bishop? Yeah, okay, sure. So the queen has fouling back. I could trade rooks here if I felt like it. I could... That pawn's not free. So I can't, like, just take. Does this do... This, like, threatens the queen again, kind of. Or I can, like I said, I was thinking about this f3 a couple moves ago. Maybe that's the play. To start, like, trying to open this up a little bit more. I think I'm going to try to open it up. I need to start playing a little quicker. My time is a little unfortunate.
Good job there by Dr. Alice, realizing that his time is getting a little low. He's at 3 minutes 15 seconds on the clock. He's taken nearly a minute on both of his previous two moves, and did take over a minute on move 15. So Ty Kevin deciding to trade off the rooks here on d1, which is a fine move. But here, you know, this pawn break. I did like this move from Dr. Alice, that in addition, it also opens up an escape square for the king. In the event of a possible back rank. So he decides to take here after bishop to d7. And now if you're black, you're down some pieces. I get the feeling that he wants to take here, but then you just take back with the bishop. I think it's probably best to try to just formulate some sort of attack. Bishop b5. Yeah, and there he does see that bishop b5 move. That's probably one of his better moves here. You could also just go c4. And if he does decide to go c4, then you can just push to a4 and attack this rook. Instead decides to get out of the way of a potential attack. And now maybe you take here. Now you've got this diagonal here. This king can't escape to this square. Ty Kevin now down below 4 minutes on the clock. He does decide to take. Bishop takes g4, and then queen to g6, attacking that bishop. Also attacking this this pawn sitting here on c2. So as expected, the bishop does take there. So yeah, that would probably be the best move here. Would be queen to g6. This queen really is in a really weird position. You know, it's right next to the bishop, but can't take the bishop because it's protected there. Can't take the pawn because it's protected here and here. Decides to move the bishop out. It does put some pressure onto this pawn right here. But bishop f4 negates that attack. Indeed. I think that probably make this trade here, and then again put this queen here, might be the best option. Or putting this now, because of where, you know, this is now kind of an open square. If you trade here, you bring the bishop here. Now it's attacking this pawn here. You can try to find an idea to bring the queen up. So yes, he does take back there. So bishop c6, which then the queen would just take there. I don't really like that. That is a potential move here from the queen, getting onto that 7th rank. That's a very scary proposition. Then you bring up the rook. He brings the rook up to c7 or c6 though, which does attack this pawn, but it is protected by the queen right now. Especially now, I really like this move. Or Or bishop to c4 just to get that kind of out of the way now, but I don't know. Okay, so he does go c4. Which attacks this pawn, puts pressure onto the king, escaping to that f1 square. And now queen g6. This is very good play from Dr. Alice, though, kind of just stopping all potential counterattacks. c4, and that bishop's in a lot of trouble. I mean, you could just move it again here to e4. Dr. Alice down to 1:40 on his clock. Let's see what he's thinking.
Get my queen over here. What's the best way in? Here? Just keep attacking this way, I guess.
I'm just gonna force this trade.
So you saw from both players there, Ty Kevin trying to force a trade here with the rooks. Unfortunately, bishop takes e6 check. You can't really take back. If you take back there, rook, queen, rook. Yep, and he does take there. And if he takes with the queen, that's just a free rook. Or that would have been a free queen, actually. But yes, yep, they're very nice little tactic here from Dr. Alice, and White's in the driver's seat. King to f7, probably his best move here. Get the king off of this rank. Protect the queen. At least take some sort of compensation here without putting your king back in check, and having this queen on the back line. Decides to protect instead with the bishop. And he does decide to trade there. But now this is rough. Queen d8. Queen d5 also works. And now the queen is just going to start picking off pieces, and queen e7, that's just a classic fork here. The king has to move away. He's going to take the bishop. And this is about all she wrote, folks. Dr. Alice almost certainly going to walk home with this victory, and walk home with the championship for the first ever Meerkats Aspiring Streamer chess tournament. And now a5, and now queen f6. Queen e6 is checkmate. Dr. Alice is the champion of Meerkats Aspiring Streamer chess tournament. Congratulations to Dr. Alice. We'll have him and Ty Kevin both on here after a quick break. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and thank you all for watching.